have we seen prices go up? Yes, but they're not outrageous yet. As a matter of fact, today I went to Walmart and got footage for my next video, 10 cheap foods you can still stockpile, because people think that you can't find anything that's worth anything at the grocery store. Well, yes, prices have gone up, but when I went today, flour had gone up about 8%. Sugar had gone up about 5%. Beans had not gone up. Canned fruit had not gone up. So their chicken quarters had gone up about 10%. Of course, they got that whole chicken flu thing, so I don't know if chickens are back in, what do you call it, back in stock? What do you call that when chickens all go away and then they come back? Are they all hatched? I don't know. I can't imagine they'd be hatched and grown by now. Let's see, it's been, what, 8 weeks or so?
Yeah.
I don't know. How fast do chickens grow, guys? Any chicken farmers around here? But Jennifer says in Australia, watermelons are $100. That's insane.
Oh my
I would not be doing that. I'm sorry.
Oh my word.
You can take your watermelon and just don't give it to me.
Yeah, we got a pretty good size one just about a week ago for $4 and something.
Yeah,
here,
I got one
so.
today. They are $4.68. I got one today, which I forgot to cut up for dinner. Eggs are high priced. Kimmy from She's in Our Apron says yes. Eggs were about $3 a dozen. But if there's no chickens, you kind of got to expect eggs to be a little bit higher.
Yeah, it's hard to know if that's inflation or the chicken flu stuff, whatever it was.
Yeah, it's probably a combination of both.
Yeah, could be.
So we are giving you, so yes, we are seeing prices go up. It's not hyperinflation yet. Could it be? Yes. All the crazy baloney they're pulling. I mean, Biden just, did you hear about Biden declaring a state of emergency so that we can get solar panels?
Oh, word.
Tara is about to do a video on that one. She's got a thing or two to say about this. So, you know, stupid stuff like that is going to make prices go higher. You know, they put in windmills in Kansas and all our electric bill was going to go down because they were putting in all these windmills, and our electric bill doubled.
Yeah, it went higher.
So that kind of stuff is going to affect grocery prices. Now, what are you going to be able to do to combat these grocery prices? Well, we've got solutions for you. Take it away, Mother.
I was waiting for that. She always tells me to take it away, and I don't know what we're talking about. But one thing, there's no need to panic. You use the same basic stuff we've been teaching you for how many years now? You know, really simple things that
Honestly,
you can do.
We were kind of like, okay, we're just repeating.
I know, we feel like we're repeating it, but it works. It works no matter what situation you're in. It works no matter where you're at. You can use these same basic principles, you know. And so I've got a list of a few different things that, to me personally, before I go to the grocery store, what saved me is not watching out what I bought at the grocery store. In one sense, it was how I changed my lifestyle with my food, my relationship. Everybody has a relationship with their food now, it seems like. You know, they're on special diets and this, that, and the other. But I changed the way I use my food at home, basically.
Well, first of all, stop wasting food.
Well, yeah.
Stop just throwing it away. You need to start seeing that food you throw away as dollar bills.
Money.
And hours at work. This is the biggest thing that people don't do. They don't calculate the $40 to $50 pizza they have delivered to their house as 3 to 4 hours worth of work. And that's when your mindset is going to change.
Yeah, you have to change your thinking about your food. And for example, watch your serving sizes. And then you won't have as much food that you're throwing away. Don't give your kids, you give toddlers a big scoop of serving size, a spoonful of, say, green beans, and put on their plate when a 3 or 4 year old only needs, you know, like 2 or 3, maybe 4 green beans.
Okay, so let's just real quick. For toddlers, they get 1 tablespoon. That's like this much. Then if they want more, they get more.
Mm-hmm.
Between about 5 and 8, they get about 2 tablespoons, maybe. 8 to 11, they get about 3 tablespoons. And then if they eat it all, then they can have more.
Well, I was going to say, your family will tell you if you're feeding them too much food. Look at their plates when they get done eating.
Mm-hmm.
What's on there? Is it totally empty, or are there tons of leftovers? Look at their glasses. Is there always juice, milk, pops, something left in these glasses? First of all, you could start by just teaching everybody to drink water for all the meals, and and more so, even in between. And like this glass, when I say learn your serving sizes, this glass is 2 cups, yet people fill a glass this size, half full at least, with juice for a 4-year-old or a 5-year-old.
Joseph.
That's not what they need. They don't need that. That would be over, way over what they really need for the whole day, let alone at one setting. So watch, what are the leftovers doing in your house? And we have proven this, and not only us, but if you go online, you'll find other places that have said this too, long after we were talking about this. But 50% of the food that people buy is put in the trash. Now, I want you to really think about that. This is why you're worried about the inflation. Stop focusing on the inflation and start looking at your own food at home and what you're doing. Focus on that. Use your brain power and stay emotionally calm and start looking. What is your food eating? And you know how many people that are on here of our regular viewers who have said it's made a huge difference in their life, watching their serving size and watching the leftovers in that. They've saved money and they've lost weight. Go figure, And so be careful with that. Were you ready to, I didn't know if do we have questions or anything yet?
No, go ahead.
And so you can start by that. Another thing that you can help yourself with as far as the inflation and stuff, instead of panicking on how much the food's costing, and the prices is going up on meat and things, don't use so much meat. You can cut. Everybody doesn't need a huge chicken breast. First of all, an elementary school child can use a half of one. Stop buying chicken breasts.
A quarter.
Well, I'm thinking 8, 9, 10.
Because some of those are like.
Well, yeah, if it's a super big one.
Like
I'm thinking just a bigger one. This size. And so you can cut back on your meat just by that alone. But start using less meat. Period. I don't mean go vegan or vegetarian, but like if you make a stew, I cut my pieces. I don't even make. They're probably about a half an inch, the size of stew meat that I use to put into my stew. How many of you use an inch or bigger chunks of stew meat? That type of thing. When you're making a casserole, if it calls for a pound of hamburger, we've said this before, cut the amount in half and only use a half a pound of hamburger in a casserole. Your family won't know a difference. And that way you're using more filler foods in the noodles or the potatoes or whatever you're using in that. And that'll fill them up and you'll save money on your meat, when you're doing that. You've heard us say a million times, when I would cook a pound of hamburger or half a pound of hamburger, I would take a couple of 2 to 3 tablespoons out of the fried up hamburger, put it in a container in the freezer. And every time I did hamburger, I'd take 2 to 3 tablespoons out and put it in that container. And the thing is, at the end of a couple of weeks, I'd have almost a free pound of hamburger already fried, ready to use in tacos or spaghetti sauce or something like that. And it was more than plenty. Start doing, examples like this for your meat. Another thing to save on meat, make a white sauce. I just made my mom and I this past week. I just made a simple white sauce, and we have it in the book. We have a white sauce in the book it's really easy to make.
White gravy, white sauce is the same thing. Dining on a Dime, Volume 1.
Yeah, in the book. So take a white sauce, and I opened up a can of tuna, and I dumped that tuna in the white sauce, and we had enough servings. I figured we got between 5 and 6 servings out of that one can of tuna. So that's another way to look at your meat. Grind it up. And Tara gave me, they were about 4 by 4 inch piece of ham. slices of ham that she'd had at Easter time. I ground those slices of ham up in a meat grinder, and I ended up with, what did I figure, 10 servings of that ground up meat that I could use in sandwiches, compared to most people would just take the one slice, of ham and put it on a plate for one meat serving, or put it on a sandwich for one meat serving. By grinding it up, I was able to get more servings out of it, 10 to 12 servings out of just those little pieces of ham. So those are a couple of ways I was looking to see. Another way to do is start, of course, eggs are expensive now. So some of these things you'll have to adjust when things are fluctuating. I hard boil, it's summer now. In Kansas, it was so hot to cook. Don't cook, even in a crock pot. First of all, the meals are usually heavier, and it's so hot, to even mess. We get so hot and lethargic because I didn't use air conditioning. And because I made simple meals that didn't cook, I have to cook, I didn't have to turn my air conditioner on quite as much. So think of all these things through. But now it's summer, boil up some hard-boiled eggs and keep them in the refrigerator. You can take and make a chef salad and maybe have some lunch meat that you put just a slice or two, just thin, make it julienne slices or little thin slices of it. Sprinkle it on the chef salad with maybe one of the hard-boiled eggs quartered. And you don't have a whole lot of meat, but you've got a nice, serving size of meal that way. And you have your protein that you need for that meal. You're looking so, I didn't know what I was doing. You're so quiet. You're so quiet. So I didn't know if I was
talking too much.
Talking too much. Yeah, thanks. Well, thanks, Michael. Leave it to Michael, my son-in-law, to say I'm talking too much. What are you looking at?
What?
No, I don't want to do the whole show myself.
Okay,
Oh.
so
sorry. I'm sorry. Everybody says you interrupt me all the time, don't they? Well, one other thing, start buying cheaper cuts of meat. And you can slow cook those in the oven. It's cheaper to bake these things in the oven, too. I know a lot of people don't realize that. But buy cheaper cuts of meat that you can slow cook.
Yeah, but what's a cheaper cut of meat?
Well,
People don't understand what that
some
means.
roasts are very, very expensive. And chuck roast, I think it is, it's less, I haven't bought a roast for so long, is less expensive. And they're a little bit tougher, a little bit.
So we don't buy roasts by the cut. We buy it by the price.
Yeah.
Because the way we cook roasts in our Dining on a Dime, Volume 1, slow cook roast right here, 25% off. The way we cook roasts, because we slow cook them, it doesn't matter what cut of roast you have.
So get the cheaper.
Turns out fork tender. You don't need a knife to cut it, and it's just super juicy and super delicious because of the way you cook it. It has nothing to do with the cut of meat.
And don't go to these specialty places and buy this meat saying it tastes better, it has better flavor. Like Trader Joe's is the one that we have here. I don't know about in other countries where they have the meats are a little more expensive and they're supposed to be much better, and that. Stop going to these places and go to another place that's less expensive and get cheaper cut meats. And use your leftovers from the meat is what I was trying to say. We have in the book the leftovers. Some of you, if you've used our leftover index in the book, pop on there and let us know, because our leftover index is really good. So when you cook the meat, instead of just tossing, a little bit away and thinking, well, I'm not going to use it, I don't want to mess with using the leftovers. The biggest one is my family will not use leftovers. We have got recipes in there in the leftover index that you can make, and they won't even know that you're, using leftovers.
Yeah, somebody said that. She said that my family says they don't eat leftovers. She said, I got news for them. They eat it all the time. They just don't know.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And we're changing.
That's the good way to do, your leftovers is make them use that leftover roast in barbecue beef, or use the gravy in the roast and make hot roast beef sandwiches and things like that. So use up every speck of food.
Go ahead.
And then one other thing while they're checking the light or whatever, start splitting food up with your kids. This is a big pet peeve of mine. kids go in. First of all, you need to stop buying pop, period, or the juice boxes. But people take and let their kids get a whole can of pop. My mom used to divide a pop up, just a small thing of pop, between 3 and 4 of us. And, you know, we didn't get a whole can of pop. We survived. She'd take glasses and put ice in them and pour the pop in. And that was a treat, and it stretched it farther. I bought some crackers, a little package of peanut butter crackers that you can get at Walmart. And they've got like 6 crackers. Most people just hand their kids a package of crackers. We would never have been allowed that. We would have gotten 3. There's 6 crackers. My brother would have got 3. I would have gotten 3. Pop-Tarts. How many of you have your kids just grab a package of the Pop-Tarts with 2 Pop-Tarts in it and just let them have the whole thing? Let them split a package. We wonder why there's child obesity. It has nothing to do with anything, but people are just letting their kids eat all this extra food like this. Besides that, half the time they'll eat 3 or 4 crackers out of the package and just leave the rest, you know, and it gets tossed. Or they drink half a can of pop or half a can of the juice thing. If you have milk at dinner and the kids only drink half of their milk, stick that glass in the refrigerator, and next time they want something to drink, have them drink that. These are all ways that you save at home before you even go to the store. This is how you fight inflation. Not worrying about the prices of the food. It's a given. The prices of food's going to go up. So how do I back off on having to buy so much of this expensive food?
I have an answer to that question. It is, oops, where'd they go? Nomadic says, I hear squirrel is rather tasty.
Squirrel?
I think we could start target practice on squirrel deer, and then we could practice cooking it.
Yeah. Squirrel or rabbit is quite tasty.
Oh, we need to do rabbit. This stupid rabbit can eat my flowers.
Or pheasant. We've got a lot of pheasants running around.
Yeah,
and
but they're not eating my flowers.
They're more expensive. Oh, yeah, the rabbits would. Well, then we'll work up to deer next.
Okay, so Chloe says, so Kimberly Nash said that she checks her farmers markets because before she goes to the grocery store. Now, sometimes that can be a good deal, but other times it's not a good deal. As a matter of fact, I've noticed for here, well, I haven't been to a farmer's market in 20 years where it was cheaper than the grocery store. But I do know in some places like back east, they have them a lot more, because when we went to go visit in Pennsylvania, we went to a farmer's market and it was cheaper. As a matter of fact, I almost took some food home from Pennsylvania to Colorado because it was so much cheaper. And I was like, wow. But you have to make sure. But Chloe says, do we pay more and support our local farms or shop at our local grocery stores? We are losing our farms and one day we will be sorry. No, I'm sorry. Here's the thing. We are not losing farms because we're not supporting them. And I know I'm going to get all kinds of comments about this, but we are losing farms because it's not a business for them. It's the family farm that they're trying to keep. You have to run it as a business and it has to be profitable. Now, I know I'm going to get lots of people hollering at me about that, but you have to have your business be profitable. But if you can't afford, I mean, if you got all your bills paid off and your retirement's all set and all that, your house is paid off, you go for it. That's fine.
Do something like that.
But if you don't have the money, no, you should not be spending a few extra $100 a month just to support local farms and that kind of thing. I know that sounds harsh.
It does sound harsh, you know, but that's a reality. Unless you get your debts paid off and your mortgage paid off, we're talking about feeding your kids here eventually, maybe. So you've got to get serious about this. And yes, between the 3 of us, we donate a lot of stuff and do things, but only because we can afford to right now. You can't take that money and take care of the whole world. I mean, it would be nice. And if you have the money, you better be helping others. You know, you really need to be helping others, but you've got to think realistically. And if you don't have your personal finances under control enough that you can control your grocery spending and get your debts paid, and that you shouldn't be spending your money on all this other stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because, you know,
except the only exception is tithing to the church. That's the only, I'm not taught that's a whole different thing. What I'm talking about is giving to the needy and the poor and that type of stuff.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And so, whoops, where'd it go? Somebody just said farmers markets are a good deal. Go 30 minutes before closing. So yes, that can be. One time when we were in Idaho, I was selling the book at a farmer's market, and the guy next to me had peppers and onions and all this stuff. And I got a banana box, a huge box of peppers for $1. And I cut those up and we ate on those peppers for like 6 months or a year. And so it was just when Mike and I were, just the two of us, and the kids were babies. And so, yes, they can be a good deal, but you need to make sure that it's a good deal before you do that.
Yeah, because in Wichita now, we didn't really have a good farmers. We had one farmers market and it wasn't that good. The produce was not even that good most of the time. And it was like double the price of what you could get at the store. So as a matter of fact, it faltered off and on over the years. It just, sometimes it would go okay and sometimes it wouldn't, because it was such bad produce and prices. So like Tara said, watch your area. And that goes with anything. You use the farmer's market, the sales at your grocery store, and those types of things. You need to cover a whole area and find out what is the least expensive for you. And those are good ideas. So, we do like for you guys to pop in with your ideas of what you found has worked for you, because you're in different areas, and so it helps.
So Leap of Faith says, I like 93% ground beef, but I wait until the 2-pound packages are $6.97, not paying $15. If I want meat, I will get it on clearance or good sale. Yeah, so you need to make sure. But also, if you prefer something like that, you may have to change what you're eating. 93% meat is not any better than the 70-30. If you cook the 70-30, rinse off the fat, it ends up being basically the same. I've done a video on it a couple of years ago, it's not cheaper. But I think that's great that you wait until you don't just go and buy it. But what I'm saying is, some of your preferences, that coffee that you like,
that was going to be one of our
flour
points.
that you prefer to bake with, you may have to start changing some of the way you cook and some of the things you eat. And
it's better to start giving up a few of those things right now and getting used to it than having to do everything all at once. And especially, like we said, if you're not out of debt and don't have your mortgage paid off, buying groceries is going to be the least of your problems, whenever push comes to shove. So you need to really get that stuff taken care of. And you need to start giving up a few things. I think that's one thing that people are having trouble with right now is and this isn't what the comment Tara was talking about. This is totally different, but you have to realize you may not be able to get your Lunchables for your kids, Mother, you may not be able to buy your pre-cut vegetables, your pre-cut, fruits and that. Even though they're easy, they're convenient, you prefer them. And like Tara said, with your name brand coffee, all these things, you're going to have to start looking and say, can I get used to something else? And a lot of these things, it's just a matter of getting used to something else. I learned this the hard way. I'm speaking from experience. I had to give up a lot of stuff and go down to the basics. I couldn't even have coffee. There was a time where I couldn't even have coffee because I couldn't afford to buy coffee, period. So you see the extreme here we're talking about. If you won't be hollering about your flavored coffee because you're going to not even maybe be able to get coffee. So you're going to have to kind of be a little flexible here on some of this stuff that you're thinking you can't live without, or that this meat tastes so much better than anything else that you've ever had before, or something like that. Your favorite chips, junk foods, you may not get a lot of those. You may have to start rationing your kids on getting them used to the fact that they can't sit down and eat a whole big family-sized bag of chips, every time they want some. And they'll have to eat more things like popcorn and stuff like that.
I shared the link for the hamburger.
Okay, Mike showed the link for the hamburger video in there, guys, for you guys to go see how, when we tested it, 90% and 70% was actually cheaper. Let's see. Jessica says a couple of inexpensive ideas I've used. Walmart discounts their French bread. I get 4 loaves for 60 cents, sometimes less. Yes.
Use those clearance racks.
Yeah,
very good.
That's what we do too. And you get, well, and look at the amount of ounces, because sometimes it may be more than regular white bread. So use that to make French toast and homemade croutons and things like that.
Yeah, I was going to say, start thinking of ways to use these things in different recipes. We've got a lot of ideas in dining of how, like on the French toast, to make garlic toast out of it, and different things. And the croutons, we've got the recipe for croutons so that you don't throw that dried up bread. That's where I say the leftover recipes come in really good. But we've got all kinds of recipes for what to do with that, cup or 2 of mashed potatoes. Don't throw it out. I know so many people throw those out, and you can use them if you're going to bake bread. You can use mashed potatoes to put in that bread. It makes it. People don't realize potato bread is really yummy when you use the mashed potatoes. But we've got ideas like that in there that you can use every bit of your food.
Yeah.
Oh, and if you get donuts or cinnamon rolls off the clearance rack, or even the French bread. All these things can be made into bread pudding, which we've got recipes for that too, So start using these, getting a portfolio of recipes that you can use for these types of things.
Yeah, what she said.
Yeah. What?
All right. So Alicia says we don't buy chips or pop. I used to buy microwave popcorn, but the butter is not healthy. So practical. DJ says air conditioning popcorn is great for breakfast. Yes.
Dave would agree with you on that one.
Everybody's loving their dining on a dime. Good.
Oh, thank you guys.
Yay. They are 25% off. If you want them. Okay, let me grab real quick the questions here. And Rebecca says, hello from the Midwest. Our local grocery store had chicken quarters for 49 cents a pound. I'm so excited. Yay. Yes. That's a really good deal. And I have no idea what this name is, but she says, you're the best show here in Australia. Love your advice. It goes beyond the kitchen. Your videos have encouraged us to reevaluate the cost benefit of every area of our life.
Oh, thank you.
Yay.
Thank you. I just got finished reading a book on Australia. Go ahead.
Lisa says a woman complained about a tub of butter being $6 at Walmart today. She says, LOL, build back broke. Oh man, that's so true. Tina, what's so dumb about the whole thing is they think that if you just keep repeating the same lies, it will come true. Like, build back better, or we've got inflation under control. It's like, hello, people. Anyway, okay. Lisa, I think beef is outrageous. Yes. I mean, I think it was Kimberly sent me, thank you, Kimberly, some beef prices and her grocery store, and they were crazy. We won't be eating beef.
I was just going to say.
We eat chicken quarters. We will eat beans. We will eat pancakes. We won't go vegetarian, but, we will cut back or eat different things. We're not good. We won't do it.
Yeah. Over the years, I've had to adjust the things I eat. Sometimes chicken was more expensive or cheaper, and hamburger was more expensive or cheaper. And you have to be flexible on this. That's why I say I have a lot of good recipes that you can use, on these different types of things, and just change the way you eat a little bit once in a while. It won't hurt.
Do you think a bread machine is worth it? Jan wants to know. Or bake it in the oven. I mean, you can just bake it in the oven. Yeah. It's no big deal. I have had good luck with some bread machines and not so good luck with other bread machines. It just depends. I tried another one just recently, and the stupid thing, I made like 10 loaves of bread and they were all just rocks. So I took it back. But yeah. So Dee Dee says, repeating. We said earlier in the show, we'll keep repeating the same things over and over. She says, but there are a lot of new fans, so it's new to us. Oh, yay, I'm glad. Yay. Day by Day with Micah says, people need to hear the same basic principles over and over again. Thank you. Sincerely, the person who needs to be reminded daily. Yes.
If you're like me, I will watch a video or something, and if I watch the same thing over again, I will find something
Yeah.
new that I hadn't, heard before.
Kel Valley says, I've been watching you for years. I always tell my husband to buy the small bananas. Yes, buy
Very
small bananas,
good.
small oranges,
Yes.
small apples. Now,
And-
that's the bad thing about grocery pickup. When you go and order your groceries online, they will just pick whatever. But if you go to the grocery store, get the smallest fruits, get the smallest, you don't need a whole huge banana. A small banana is
Your
fine.
family's going to eat one banana, whether
Yeah.
it's big or whether it's small, and you'll save money by buying the smaller one because usually it's sold by the pound.
Yeah. Terry says, I have since high school thought food in the trash was like throwing money in the trash.
Mm-hmm.
Now, my friends now get mad at the thought of how many hours work to pay for it.
Yeah.
I mean, people do not equate it to how many hours you have to work. And, you have, Charles, having a get it together moment, people here. But I saw a story about people have to take their vacations this year. It's been 2 years and we just need our vacations. And let me tell you, you don't need your vacation. You need to get your finances under control. And people are going to have to give up some things like their vacations in order to pay for necessities like groceries and gas. We have got to get a grip and get a perspective. Like people in India, I read a statistic the other day that was something like 90% of their income goes to pay for food. It was some ridiculous amount like that. We have, even with inflation, we still have the cheapest food in the world. We still have the cheapest food in the world. We could quadruple our prices and we would still have the cheapest food in the world. But people do not understand that. We went to Norway 3 years ago and the food was crazy expensive. I mean, Norway was just ridiculously expensive on everything. Like sugar was 5 or 6 times what it is here in the United States. But guess what? We were still able to eat for the 9 days that we were there. You're just careful with what you eat and stop eating so much. I mean, a lot of us could stand to stop eating quite so much in the first place. So, I mean, we have a lot of people who are diabetic hollering at us about, well, I'm diabetic, so I can only eat this. Well, yeah, just stop eating so much food.
Yeah.
That is what will help.
My grandma was diabetic and she had very little money. I mean, she had very little money and she did just fine. And I know people say, well, the prices were worse back then or less back then. No, if you consider how much money income she took in compared, it comes out to be the same. You can't use that as an excuse that things were just not as expensive. You made less. You didn't have as much income. So stop. Those are all excuses. Stop. That's another thing. You got to get rid of the excuses.
Yeah.
You stop making excuses. I'm this, I'm that. I have to have this. I have to have that. You figure out what you can do. Don't spend your time thinking up excuses. Spend your time of thinking, how can I make this work for my situation? That's what you have to do.
Marissa says, will there be a future video of your Walmart pickup haul? It was like eating $40 or $50 a week. So I did one for $100 for a family of 4 this week. It's the video before this. And no, I'm not going to be doing any more. Nobody likes watching my grocery hauls. And so I'm done with grocery hauls. Everybody keeps asking for them, but nobody watches them when I put them out. So yeah, I probably won't. I'm not going to do any more grocery hauls. Craig says, I didn't like apple pie until I tried the recipe in our cookbook. Yay. Volume 1 is where
Thank
that is.
you.
Let me see. Mike, send me more questions if you have them. Tara, we should do a comparison of your prices versus the prices where we live. It would be interesting to see. Just as thought, Alicia. So actually, I have done that. And the prices in Canada are actually only slightly less or slightly more than the US, just slightly. When you take the exchange rate and everything into account, actually Canadian prices, I think you're in Canada if I remember right, Canadian prices really actually aren't that much more.
Yeah,
so,
you have to really study this stuff because like people in different parts of the States even say, well, fish is so expensive here. You know, I can't afford it. But another section of the country, fish is much cheaper. And another place, they say, well, this is really expensive here, but their incomes on an average are higher in those places, even though the groceries are more. And so all of this stuff is very, very flexible. And unless you really intently study, which we've done a whole lot, we research this all the time, you can't just hear numbers. That's why I like to stay. I don't really like numbers a whole lot, that this price is here and this price is there, because there's so much involved in those numbers that unless you do all the math on it, you don't get a true picture, you know, of what's going on.
Yeah.
But,
and also in places like Canada, Norway, Sweden, those are socialist countries. They're paying those prices because they chose to have a socialist country. So when you have your free medical care, it ain't free. You're paying for it in your grocery bill and in your taxes and that type of thing. And we have proven this over and over 1,000 times, that having free medical is not cheaper than us paying for our medical in the US. I've had friend after friend who's from Canada, and every single one says, yes, we make way more money even having to pay our medical expenses in the United States than we do in Canada. So you have to realize you're paying for those services. And so some of your things are going to be higher. That's why in Norway, anything with sugar was taxed at a ridiculous amount, because they have socialized healthcare and they don't want people, you know, eating all that stuff, because then they have to pay for it. So you have to keep that in mind.
And once again, instead of worrying about all the prices, you need to think about, how can I back off and save, you know, be more careful with the money I do have, and that type of thing too.
What do you do when your spouse doesn't agree to live frugal, garden, homestead like I want to? I was raised in the country and he's a city dweller. There's nothing you can do. If he doesn't want to do it, he doesn't want to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, you knew that when you married him, and so it's just something you're just going to have to accept.
Kind of like a marriage thing. You more have to do get a marriage thing going here, and once you get that going, then it might work.
So you just do what you want to do. I mean, if you want to do all that homesteading stuff, that's fine.
Do as much as you can under your circumstances. Yeah.
Yeah, you can't drag him into it. Let's see. Did you send me questions, Mike?
I sent you,
Okay. Let's see. Oh, here it is. Okay. Tina, just started watching you. I watch TV on YouTube. Enjoy watching you. Wish I'd seen this a long time ago.
Oh, thank you.
Sandra Tara just got back from her 21-day road trip. Spent a few days in Estes Park. Went to Rocky Mountain National Park. Had to leave a day early due to a snowstorm. They were expecting 2 feet. Yes, that happens all the time in Colorado. Bill and me crazy. Are you putting out a new cookbook soon? No, we don't have any in the works at the moment. Al's Epic Family Life. I recently had a notification of a post I made in 2018. I had a list of prices that day of the food items, and a lot of the items had actually decreased in price since 2018. I have noticed that with some things, like canned goods used to be like $1.15 and they're $1 now. So I have actually noticed that some things have gone down too, but heaven forbid I say that. Nobody believes me. They think I'm just sitting here yapping. I'm not. Nancy says eggs are $4.50 a dozen at my grocery store. I went to Walmart 18 miles away. Eggs there are around $3, but they have cardboard containers of brown eggs kind of hidden for $1.97. Yes. Look for alternatives.
Good job looking. Yeah.
Look for
Check
alternatives.
Things around. Yeah.
And make sure it's worth driving to go get something. Like when we lived in Idaho, that's not actually a good example, but you can actually calculate how much it's going to cost you to spend to drive somewhere. So let's say I decide to drive to Billings, which is 2 hours away, and I have to spend probably not quite, let's see, 100, 4 times 4, 16. So it'd be probably about $35, $40 worth of gas. Now, is it worth me to spend $40 worth of gas to drive to Billings 2 hours away if they have chicken for $1.97 a pound instead of the $2.97 a pound that it is here in Sheridan? Well, yes, if my freezer is empty and I go and get a big stockpile and get a big stockpile of groceries, yeah, if I'm going to save a couple $100, it's definitely worth it. But is it worth driving across town 10 miles to save 2 cents on gas? Probably not. So that's where you have to actually calculate how much gas you're spending and is it actually worth it.
Yeah, put pen to paper and actually figure these things out. You're going to have to do a little bit of math and write this stuff down and, study it yourself and check these things out and see.
Sam says, Jill, you have great advice. Yay.
Oh, thanks.
Cindy says, how do you cook a roast? You put it in the pan, sprinkle some seasoned salt on it. If you want, you can put a can of cream of mushroom soup on it, or you can slice an onion, put on it, cover it in a roast, put it in the oven at 275 degrees and cook it for 8 hours. And then you'll have a perfect roast. There you go. Oh, Mike said he put the link in there. Yeah,
put the link in.
Karen, let's see. Would it be possible to do a show on different types of roasts? I mean, we can, but the thing is, it doesn't have anything to do with the roast. It has to do with how you cook it. Just slow cook it.
Any roast you use, if you cook it this way, it'll turn out the same. And if any of you guys listening now have cooked our slow cook roast, let her know, what you thought about it, because most people have pretty good success with it when they make it this way, and it changes the whole world of, when you do a roast. It's so easy and simple, and the meat literally falls so to pieces that the fat, if there's any fat on the roast, it just falls off the fat if you cook it the right way. So
yeah. Rebecca says, one thing I noticed here is property taxes are up. It was $300 or $400. Now it's $900 or $1,200. It's a big chunk coming out of the budget. Yeah, I mean that's $100 a month in your property taxes. So in that situation, you'll just have to, get a better job or figure out a way to.
But if you think about it, if you're spending $400 a month on groceries, and you're not being too careful, I'm not saying you're not, but if a person's not being too careful with them, and you're throwing $200 in the trash if you're not being careful and using some of the tips we're giving, because then you could use that $200 to pay for the property taxes, and other things that are coming up like that.
Yeah. Genevieve says, do you average cost by nutrition or calories? No. I mean, if you want to do that, you can, but just
saying which one you go by. When you say how much food people need.
When you go by how much, Mike says he thinks that what she's saying is when you go by how much food, calories, we just go by calories because basically it's all the same. I mean,
do serving sizes.
Yeah.
Do a food pyramid and do a serving size, and you'd be shocked. And actually measure it. Don't guess. The first week or two you do this, actually measure the serving sizes, because you'll be really shocked at how much you're overeating without realizing it.
Benita says, I work in a major grocery store. The best time to go shopping for meat, produce, dairy, bakeries in the early morning as soon as the stores open up, much is reduced. Yes, but sometimes they mark it down at night. So you need to just figure out which time your grocery store
and don't be afraid to ask, like your butcher or somebody that's working in the bakery, say, when do you reduce the stuff? They don't mind answering your questions for you,
Yeah. Genevieve says, I much anticipated mostly beans cookbook will be coming soon. No, because that's the whole premise. It used to drive me nuts. This is why I wrote what is called Dining on a Dime now. It used to be called Not Just Me, but why I wrote Dining on a Dime was because Dave Ramsey kept saying, well, you have to live on beans and rice to save money. No, you do not have to live on beans and rice. You don't. You can eat very good food without having to live on beans and rice. And that's the whole point. Go back and watch my video before this one, my $100 to feed a family of 4 for a week. 2022, I just did it. And actually, a lot of people said, well, that's a lot of food. Yeah, it was actually more like 10 or 12 days worth of food, not just 7. But I was being very generous for all those whiners who think they can't get by. And I even bought a bunch of junk food like granola bars and chips that you don't need, but I just got to have for fun. Let's see. Barb says it's amazing what so many have come to believe. What is a need and what is a vacation being one? Yeah. I mean, it's just, I mean, that's just the way people are now. So, Norway's expensive because they are a socialist country. Yeah, I mean, that's true, fluffy otter.
There's going to probably be a lot of things we have to give up, you know, and we just need to accept it. For example, you may not be able to have your kids in t-ball or baseball, but you know what? It's not going to be shouldn't be that big of a hardship. They can go outside and play with the neighborhood kids. We used to play outside with our neighbors baseball, you know, and so you can start readjusting your mind to thinking, okay, this is okay if this is the way they have to do it, and it'll change your life, but it maybe isn't necessarily for the worst type of thing.
Yeah. You can send me the next questions, Mike, if you want. Let's see. Not all of us choose a socialist country. Well, I know that. I mean, if you live there and that's your home, I totally get that you don't choose it. But I'm just saying, you know, that's the consequences of having a socialist.
She's not saying about you choosing.
Yeah.
It's just that's why.
She's saying that because when some people that aren't in a socialist country want their country to be a socialist country and don't anticipate that when they demand it, that's what they're going to get.
Okay, I didn't follow that, but okay, I'll believe you. So anyway, let's see. Melissa says, I got my cookbook, my planner, my Bible. Thank you. You are welcome. Yes, so we give away free Bibles or we sell them for our cost. If you can't afford one, we give them for free. And then we also have our planners, everybody. 365 days, undated, right here in stock. I am sorry. I don't know what is happening with my nose. I'm having a major allergy issue for some reason. Okay, let's see. Wrong computer mouse. Here we go. Thank you. Willow says, I live comfortably on around $1,000 a month, even with inflation. Yes, you can do that very easily. Yeah. Shannon says, I made your chocolate cake. Dana and I, volume 1 for my daughter's birthday. First time we didn't have any cake left over.
Oh. Speaking of chocolate cake, another thing you can start doing to save on groceries is, like, usually we're used to frosting, putting a lot of frosting on a chocolate cake, and it is yummy that way. You guys know me and my chocolate, that I would just die for something like that. But you may have to back off a little bit, and instead of just putting a whole bunch of frosting on, you could sprinkle it with powdered sugar, you know, or something like that. And that's ways you're going to learn to maybe cut back on a few things. And it's less expensive than buying a can of frosting or making up your own homemade frosting, you know, type of thing. Yeah. So keep thinking. We're just giving you tips and ideas for you to start gathering these ideas. Even start a little notebook of writing this stuff down if you need to, for in the future, if you can't afford some of this stuff, how can I make it, you know, nice or even better?
Yeah.
Without buying the usual stuff.
Yeah. Okay. Next, Kimberly says, my husband puts up with my self-reliance and prepper lifestyle. He still thinks I'm nuts, even though he benefits from it. I mean, yeah.
That means he loves you.
Sometimes you just do what you want to do and just don't worry about it, you know. Dee Dee says, literally, I put all my spare change into a savings account along with every $5 bill I got during the week. And in 24 months, I had over $5,000 saved.
Wow. It makes a difference doing that little bit. Yeah.
Lori says our regular hamburger went from $49 to $3.69 for now at our local market. Yeah, that's really good. Amanda, we buy meats at our local butcher meat market, quality much better than the grocery stores where we live. The prices are the same or even cheaper. Yeah, I mean, if it's the same, that's fine. How is the kitchen renovation going? It's not. That's going to be a little bit.
Is there anything else?
Lala says she loved the last video shopping at Walmart for $100. Thank you. I'm glad you liked it, but not many people liked it. So, Amanda says she loved the grocery haul. Yeah, I mean, I got lots of great comments. Thank you guys for those of you.
Yeah, they were really. You guys did really nice comments on that video.
People just don't want those videos
for some reason.
They just don't want those videos. And
I told even my mom, I said, Tara's really getting really good comments on this. Everybody was so nice. So
yeah, I mean, everybody likes it, but it's just people don't want it. And we're actually working on the studio kitchen. I painted it today. I realized it's basically the same kitchen as the old house. Go figure. But we're gonna use that, and that'll be our backdrop. But I don't know that I'm gonna. I mean, I'm doing videos for Super Easy Recipes, my other YouTube channel, Super Easy Recipes, but probably not going to be doing very many for Living on a Dime. I'm going to try some depression recipes pretty soon, some depression era recipes, but yeah. Pedro or Sam, how do we get your cookbooks? Right here, 25% off, livingonadime.com. So everybody asked this question. What's the difference between volume 1, volume 2, and then gluten-free? Okay, so these are 2 cookbooks with totally separate recipes. Totally separate recipes. So you can use them apart or you can use them together. Either way, okay? So this one has totally separate recipes from this one. If you're going to pick one book, start with this one. This has all the basics, how to make mashed potatoes, how to make a roast, how to make gravy, how to make homemade taco seasoning, all that.
We've got homemade toiletries in there. We got a section on kids stuff, you know, like Play-Doh and that type of things. How to clean. We got a little section on cleaning. There's tons of ideas in this.
Then this one is just more recipes that we thought were too expensive to put in here when we realized people didn't really care about the money. This one uses less things like cream cheese, sour cream. It uses really inexpensive ingredients. This one has a few more expensive ingredients like cream cheese, but it's not horrid by any means.
It's not gourmet expensive at all.
And then our gluten-free, dairy-free, it's this book here made into a gluten-free, dairy-free edition. I'm gluten-free, dairy-free. This is what I use every day. So that is what it is. So livingonadime.com, you can click on the shop, and that is where you can get those. And then we also have our undated planners right here. Those are in stock right now. Let's see. Genevieve says basic healthy and simple food is cheap in Canada. You do have to cook. Yeah.
I want to make a comment on that too. That's another thing, is keep things simple. It's really good that she said simple food, because I was talking to my mom today, and I remember when I went to my grandma's for lunch, she would put a container of cottage cheese, some sliced tomatoes, and some sliced cucumbers. That was our lunch. I think we make things too elaborate. If we make a dessert, it's got like 25 different ingredients in it, when sometimes kids would like just a simple homemade popsicle, you know? And so keep your meals simple. The more ingredients you have in a recipe or for a meal, the more expensive it's going to be. Just, you know, in the summer, it's hot. Make a sandwich with a sliced tomato on the side, or a little sliced apple or a banana, and something like that, a side of say corn on the cob or whatever. But just do a few things and keep them very basic and very simple. Not elaborate sauces, not a lot of gooky stuff on your meats and stuff like that.
It's called marinades, Mom. Sauces, not cookie stuff. It's called taste.
But I mean, the point is, you can get good taste with all the cookie stuff on it. So, you know, but keep it really simple and less ingredients.
This is why I do shows by myself. Not really.
Not really.
Okay, let's see. Christine says, wow, our property taxes are $3,500. Oh, yeah. I mean, some places, oh my goodness, New Jersey, it's ridiculous. I don't even know why anybody lives in New Jersey. The same property taxes that we pay here in New Jersey are like $20,000. It's absolutely nuts. Okay, let's see.
More?
Yeah, a discount store near me had roast for $2.99 a pound. I stocked up as much as I could afford. Yep, that's exactly what you do, Amanda. Yep, that's very, that's the right way to do it. Margaret says, oh, we love you, Margaret.
Oh, Margaret.
She's our best
Said our
friend.
Margaret.
The roast cooked Tara's way are fantastic, and the turkey is even more fantastic. So I stole that from Mom, so it's actually Mom's way. But yes, thank you very much. Everybody's saying they love the $100 grocery I'm glad you guys liked it. I mean, I'm really glad, but people just did not, they don't respond to those anymore. So, let's see. Amanda says, loved your grocery haul, gave me some good ideas. Yes. Rowdy one says $4.54 for gas in the Midwest. It's $4.89 here. I went to Walmart this morning and it was $4.80. I came home from Walmart and it was $4.89. Yeah. Thanks, Joe. Yeah, it had nothing to do with Russia. That was a bunch of lies straight from the pit of hell. I'm sorry.
Oh, I told my mom I could understand gas prices going up and I wouldn't mind paying them, but we're here in Wyoming and we know people are sitting on tons of gas here that we could just, if we were just allowed to pump it out, you know, there'd be more jobs and we'd have the gas. So that's what's frustrating about, you know, the higher gas prices.
And yes, I know in Canada and Europe, it's a lot higher. I totally get that. And I totally am glad that we're not living there. And, you know, thankfully, we live in a town small enough that if we have to walk to the grocery store, we can walk to the grocery store. It's 2 miles. Mm-hmm. If it gets to that point, that's what we'll have to do, you know.
And this is probably getting serious enough, guys, that if you're thinking about moving and things like that, take these things into consideration, all these little things.
Do we grind our wheat into flour? No, I do not go with all of that mess. You can if you want. I just personally don't have the patience for it.
And we're sick. You know, we can barely cook a meal, let alone do all those extra types things too.
Tara, did you change anything in your diet? You look great. Oh, thank you. No, I didn't. So I don't know. I guess I'm just glowing for a reason. I'm tanned. It's because I've been out gardening. That's why.
Oh yeah.
I'm just tanned from being outside gardening.
She tans real easy.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. You can get the planners. Somebody was asking about the planners. You can get them at Living on a Dime in the shop. Just click on the shop and that's where you can get them. Let's see. Walmart is 250 miles round trip. Gas is $6 a gallon. Whoa, 3 local grocery stores price match. Well, there you go. I mean, I would definitely do that if they'll price match, I would do that. When my parents were broke back in the 60s, we had pancakes for dinner. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
and breakfast meals for dinner is a really good idea. We would do all kinds of pancakes, waffles, just fried eggs and bacon with toast in the evening, you know, and they're less expensive usually, those types of things.
Yeah.
So yeah, use breakfast a lot. That's a good idea. Yeah, really good.
Have we ever done a video explaining how to use our planner? Yes. If you go to the Living on a Dime on the shop, the video is right there on the planner explanation page.
Also, if you guys have questions about anything, go to our video channel, where our videos are, and just where the search thing is, type in a few words and it'll come up with a lot of videos. I was looking up something on how to cook corn on the cob in the microwave thinking about simple meals, you know, instead of having a big pot of water boiling on the stove and it's hot and that type of thing for summer meals, we do it in the microwave. And so I just typed in corn on the cob and our video for that popped up. So if you have questions for things, try that, you know, just typing in a few keywords.
Holly, does the gluten-free cookbook save money on groceries as well? Yes, I am gluten-free, dairy-free, and my grocery bill has not gone up at all. As a matter of fact, probably down. Jenna says we coordinate appointments and all combined to save money. It just went away. Yes, I mean, that's what you're going to have to do is start saving money on those kinds of things.
This is sort of off topic. The one thing I just saw in my notes that I kind of wanted to mention is baby food. I think we did a video. Did we do a video on baby food or is it on? Yeah. So
yeah,
type
Michael find it for you and put it in there.
You can make, I know there's a problem with formula and that type of thing now, but you can make your own baby food. And some new moms don't realize that you can. If you've got one of those stick blenders or bless you. Oh, if you got a stick blender or just a regular blender or food processor, you can just, anything you're having for your own meal half the time, like if you're having green beans or if you're having peas or peaches or some, you can just put those in the blender And
I just opened up the can, stuck the hand blender in there, and blended it, and that's what my kids ate. For
yeah,
food. I never bought baby food for my kids
in the jars.
Never.
No. And you'll save a huge amount of money by doing that, you know. And you can put them, the video will explain, you can put them in ice cube trays or in little tiny containers in the freezer, and then you can just pull it out when you need something. If you want to do a big batch, you know, and you don't want to feed the baby 20 days worth of green beans, you can freeze it like that, you know, that type of thing. So it's a really good way. We don't often talk about saving money on the babies, you know, the baby's food like that. And
that's because our audience is 65 years old.
they have grandchildren. But anyway, so, you know, you can do that and get them off formula as soon as you possibly can. Wean them off the formula.
Oh, my word. These kids that are 2 years old on formula, come on, people. Seriously, unless your child has a specific medical need, which is totally fine.
And that's a different thing.
That's a totally different thing. But if your child has no special medical anything and you're still giving them formula over the age of 12 months, that's absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, by the time Tara was about, I think, 5 or 6 months, she wouldn't take a bottle. She refused to take a bottle, and I had to have surgery, and so I couldn't nurse her anymore. So we had to kind of wean her almost, but she refused to take a bottle. So she basically went to regular food and a sippy cup. So, you know, I know it's hard to wean them, and it's a little bit of work, but you might want to start trying to do that on your older babies.
Pam, I need suggestions on how to pack food for my food supply. I'm moving in 2 months. So what we do is we just put it in little nooks and crannies. Like when we put the freezer on the truck, then we pack it all with food. When we put the chest in the truck, if it's not totally full, we will put different food in there. We'll just slide it in different places, different containers that we want to take, but are empty. We'll put it in there.
I took my toilet paper, and I had holes where I didn't want the boxes to shift very much. So I'd stuff rolls of toilet paper in there because you can smash them, you know, pretty good, and slide them in there to keep things from shifting. If I had something like a plastic container, instead of just putting the big plastic bowl in there, I would put maybe a bag of rice or something like that inside the plastic bowl. Fill everything up like that you can.
Also, make sure you put mouse bait on the bottom floor of the truck in case a mouse gets in there. So put mouse bait because they'll eat that before they'll get your food.
Yeah.
Turret, hello. We were just talking about Norway. Have you had a hot summer there yet? No, we have not yet.
My mom was saying it's cold here.
We have
not been bad.
It's supposed to this weekend though. It's supposed to be almost 90, which I don't know what that is in Celsius, but it's supposed to be warm this weekend. Liza, my dad lived through the Depression and he refused to accept leftovers. My mom fed us those for lunch. He refused to let mom serve potato soup. Brother, I'm sorry, that man would be fixing his own food then.
Give Mike a warning.
Georgina says, I bought the gluten-free cookbook for a friend and she loves it. Yay. Actually, everybody who buys this, they absolutely love it. It's what I use. If you are tired of spending $7 a loaf for sandwich bread, use it.
Bless you.
The sandwich bread in there is really good.
And speaking of the Depression, a lot of our recipes in Volume 1 are basically Depression recipes that my grandma used, you know, and my mom used years and years ago, and they're all recipes, or most of them, a lot of are recipes from that.
I'm sorry, guys. I don't know what happened. Something got on my nose, and I just can't stop. The 2-ingredient ice cream from Volume 2 was a smashing success with her kids. So for JTV says.
Oh, we've got homemade popsicles. You can save money on homemade popsicles, and that's in Volume 1. And so we've got a lot of fudgesicles, popsicles.
Yeah. Melissa loves the 2-ingredient biscuits. Yeah, they're super easy. They're so good. My other cooking channel is called Super Easy Recipes. So you guys can type that in and you'll find me on there. Becky, I found out that I don't have to use a whole pound of ground turkey for meals. I've cut it in half for a while now, and I'm going to quarter it to make my meals. And you have given me the courage to try.
Oh, very good. And that's a good point. Experiment. Don't be afraid to try these things and see what happens, you know.
Yeah. Let's see. Kimberly Nash, I have been rewatching the old videos because I love watching Tara cook. Oh, thank you. I know, I wish more people did, but they just don't. As a matter of fact, we were having an existential crisis yesterday, and I was just like, I'm so done trying to figure this out, what YouTube wants. Let's see. Rowdy one says sour cream on everything. Yes. It's very delicious. Kimberly says BLTs with corn on the cob is the bomb. Yes, it is. And if you want some butters for grilled corn on the cob, Dining on a Dive Volume 1 has a whole bunch in there. I do not know what's wrong.
And speaking of sour cream, we've got a really easy, I don't know, is our barbecue with sour cream in there? Maybe not, but here's a good easy recipe if it's not. I take sour cream and I take a bottle of barbecue sauce and I mix them almost in equal parts. You can just taste it and see the strength that you want. And that's a really fast, easy dip for chips if you need one this summer, you know, because I a lot of times have sour cream and I have barbecue sauce, but I don't have chip dip, you know, all the time. And so that works out really good.
Lisa says, go to jail, free meals. I like that idea. I could see that as a vacation myself. I think that would be great. Carol Ann says, I'll be watching your grocery haul once the live show is over. Thank you. Sean says, gas in Arizona is $5.09. I know, it's crazy. Thank you. Courtney shares our videos after she subscribed a few months ago.
Oh, thank you.
Mama Caraba says our property taxes are $1,200 a month. I think I'd be moving. But my husband and I disagree about selling the house. I think I'd be moving.
Leave the husband with the house? No.
He can keep the house and you'll just say it's cheaper to have a divorce.
We just have to say that because Mike's sitting over there.
Man,
I'll give you my forwarding address on my.
Yeah. You both appear to be friends. Was it always that way? I guess. I think we mostly get along for the most part.
Yeah.
Occasionally, mom's being an irritation.
Oh, I was just going to say, I do have problems with Tara once in a while, but I ignore her.
Let's see. Beth says, I used to do breakfast for dinner once a week. The kids loved it. Yep.
I'll make a comment on that. I always said, you're supposed to be your kid's mom. You're not supposed to be their best friend. I've always said that. But what's happened is, without realizing it, whenever you do it that way, you tend to get along better, you know, and you do tend to be friends, have a friendship. So.
Thanks, Big M. She gave us
thank you, Big M.
Bible money.
Yeah,
thank you. That. Thank you. Sharon says, do you use air conditioning? Yes, we do. Although Mike and I keep ours like at 78, 76, 78, and we wait until the very last minute that we can. And in Wyoming, that's usually around the 1st of July. We might have to turn on this weekend. We'll see how hot it gets.
I lived in Kansas and I had AC, but I try not to use it. I did every method I could to keep from using it. And usually I turn it on late afternoon, even when it got above 100, you know.
Yeah. Nancy says, I use the gluten-free cookbook all the time, about $1.50 to make bread instead of $6. Yes, and it tastes much better. My kids will eat the gluten-free bread. If I make it and it's sitting on the counter, it'll be gone before I get any. And so I have to be careful and cook it when they're not home because otherwise they'll eat it all. Let's see. Bacon is $8 a pound. Yeah, but look for ends and pieces because it's a lot cheaper buying it that way. It's $3 a pound if you get ends and pieces. Jen says, my kids walk to the store either by themselves or with me. I'm less than 2 miles from the grocery store. Yeah.
Who said grilled cheese and tomato soup? Oh, I love that. That's one of my favorite meals too.
Yeah.
My favorite.
Okay, let me see. Mike said he got me. Marie said I got the first cookbook in the mail just a few days ago. Yay, I'm so glad. And let me tell you, if you guys have a problem with your order, just nicely email me, please.
We take care of them for you. But
I am not out to rip you off. I am not trying to have fraud. I had a lady today get all snippy with me because I accidentally put a label on a Bible instead of a volume 1. And I gave her a refund. I'm like, I'm not sending you my cookbook. If you're going to be snippy with me, you're getting your money back and I'm not dealing with you. Be nice.
yeah.
These companies are not out to rip you off. Sometimes they just make mistakes. All you got to do is nicely ask and say, my book got destroyed by the post office. Okay, I will take care of it for you.
And that's not just for us guys. That's if you go into
everybody.
a store or any place. We need, what is it? Show a little bit love and kindness. Is that the song? You know, we need to show a little bit more consideration for everybody.
Oh my word. That just.
But you know what? Okay. Even though Tara had that, we still have the best viewers.
Yeah, I know. 9% of the people
I don't know
are really
how
nice,
come. I don't know why we're so blessed with that, but we've got the nicest, best viewers.
It just chaps my hide when somebody makes a simple mistake, or even like driving. If you pull out in front of somebody, assume, or if somebody pulls out in front of you, assume they just didn't see you.
Just didn't mean
it
to.
was a mistake.
Yeah.
Or maybe they're on the way to the hospital having a baby or something. But, you know, you got to stop assuming the worst for everybody. Just, yes. So anyway, okay. Do you guys know how to make homemade gasoline? No, but our son does. But we won't go into that.
And he doesn't have a science degree, does he?
No, he does not. Do you like and use apple cider vinegar regularly? No, I don't. I'm allergic. I'm allergic to apple cider vinegar, actually.
Okay.
So
Years and years ago, I was on an apple cider vinegar kick type thing, and I drank it. I took baths in it. I washed my face in it. I did my hair with it, and what are you laughing?
Just go. That's why you're so well preserved.
Why I'm so well preserved? Because I
can resist.
She said that's why I'm so well preserved. But it didn't. None of it seemed. After 2 or 3 years of using this stuff, I realized it didn't do a whole lot of anything for me. It said you were supposed to lose weight if you drank it, and my hair was going to be glowing and full, and my skin would be glowing. And, you know, it might work for some of you. And some people, these things, you just got to try it and see. And if it works for you, great. But it didn't work for me. So I even had a whole book on apple cider vinegar, ways to use it and everything. But yeah, well preserved.
So what's my excuse? I turned 50 in a month. And Mike says I still look good.
Oh, Mike does.
Okay, let's see. Oh my. Okay. Let's see. Did I get all those? Yes, I got those ones. Okay. You can send me the next one. The green chili in our cookbook is to die for. Thank you, Jeannie. That's probably a staple in our family. I make it all the time. Lynn says, I'm starting to eat gluten-free and low carb because of my fibromyalgia, pre-diabetic. You might also cut out the dairy. I noticed when I cut out the dairy, it helps my pain a lot. And actually, if you cut out the sugar, it helps your pain a lot too. So I'm just telling you, I'm not saying it's easy. I'm just telling you that's what helps.
If I cut out sugar, I get more painful.
Yes, dear.
I'm just saying more, but there's not that much more.
Annette, I think y'all would do great if you had time to do a diabetic cookbook. Actually, we really wouldn't. That's not
one thing. We have had more people that are on a diabetic diet
use our cookbook.
Cookbook and say they love it because the recipes are so simple and easy to adapt, and we have a lot of people that really like it. So we don't really feel like we need to even bother to do a diabetic one because the recipes in the volume 1 works.
Jamel, I'm going to subscribe to my other channel, Super Easy Recipes. Thank you. I appreciate it. We are working on getting it up. This week, I have been really focusing on getting the new studio painted. And in 2 weeks, we're supposed to have the electrician come so we can get the stove in. But it's going to probably be mostly for super easy recipes, and we're just going to use it as a background for living on a dime. Michelle, is the gluten-free sandwich bread made with almond flour from our cookbook? No, it's not. It is made with a rice-based flour, or a sorghum-based flour works good also with it, but the rice-based flour works the best. Cooking for retired couples. I know we get a lot of comments on that, but probably not.
But check out our website and our YouTube channel, because I've talked a lot about cooking for 1 or 2 people type of thing. So
Elle's channel, it's not just food rationing or toiletries. People use way too much soap. Yep.
Yeah.
And toothpaste and shampoo and toilet paper. Get yourself a bidet. Learn how to fold your toilet paper. Learn how to wipe properly.
Learn how many sheets to use of toilet paper.
Go back to our toilet paper, Mike. Share our toilet paper video. We did a toilet paper comparison on what's the cheapest toilet paper and how to efficiently use it. And
I was just talking the other day too about shampooing your hair. You don't need to shampoo your hair twice. I mean, when we wash our bodies down in the shower, we don't soap it down, rinse off, and re-soap it down. Yeah. When you wash your hands, you don't wash them and rinse them off and re-soap. Why do you do your hair? And so just wash your hair once with the shampoo. The shampoo people love for you to do it twice because you're using twice as much shampoo. Use less shampoo in your hand too. And if it doesn't get sudsy like you want, just stick your head under the water and add a little more water, and it'll suds right up. I've had people that have just been amazed that you'll use half the amount of shampoo or even less. So that's one tip to help you guys with toiletries.
The toilet paper one, dear.
Yeah.
There's only like 6 minutes. Did you shorten it?
No, I did. There's 2 of them. But you can do the short version if you want. Let's see. Shannon says, what a human being making a mistake. Yes. What frustrates me so much when people start accusing me of cheating them and trying to rip them off is we bend over backwards to help people when there's a problem. We try to, within 24 hours, have the problem resolved. I mean, not on the weekends, but Monday through Friday. And it just is so frustrating when you do everything you can and people are just like, well, you're just ripping me off. I'm blah, blah, blah. And so then they do a chargeback and all this stuff. And it's a huge pain for us when all we want to do is help them get the right thing.
Well, and usually when they do it, they haven't actually, that's the first contact. It's not like the
yeah, and when they do almost every time when people do a chargeback on their credit card, that's the first contact that we've ever heard that there's even a problem. And 95% of the time, I win the dispute on the chargeback because I have proof that their book was delivered. I have proof that they didn't email me. I have proof that I emailed them or whatever. And so, it's just frustrating because yeah. Jackie says, I received the wrong cookbook and Tara took immediate care of the situation. Thank you. Oh. I've never gotten such wonderful customer service. Well, thank you. And I didn't mean to read that right after I said that. I just happened to be there. Jay Moore says, Amazon third-party sellers are often out to rip you off. Yeah, sometimes. I mean, not all the time, but yeah, there are a lot of scammers on that kind of thing. And I understand that's why people automatically assume they don't know me, and so I get that, but it's always good to just assume the best, and then after you don't get something, like that lady today, she emailed me 4 times in 10 minutes the same thing. Like, you got to give me a chance to respond here, so let's see. Michelle says, I got both volumes and made the pizza tonight. Woo, the pizza. Oh, the pizza's in volume 1. Sorry, I picked up the wrong one. Let's see. What is it with people? Danielle wants to say, I think people have just lost any kind of common decency anymore.
Well, they're so used to just talking to people online where they can't see them a lot of times through Facebook or text or stuff like that. And you react to people differently when you don't see them. And it's become a habit now. They're translating that into everyday life.
Yeah.
and do
Alicia says, please don't say the third-party sellers are ripping everyone off. I'm a third-party Amazon. Yeah, I'm not saying every Amazon, but I understand why people get frustrated because they've had an experience like that or something. And so I totally get that. But, you know, yeah.
Did you not get the last email?
I guess I didn't. Oh, here it is. Okay. Pinar says, always look forward to your videos, especially those on how to save money.
Thank
Both of
you.
you always inspire me and give me new ideas. Yay! Let's see. Alicia, I've subscribed to Super Easy Recipes, our other channel, but I've never received any notifications. Neither has Mom.
I haven't either. So
I mean,
I don't know what's going on.
You've got to make sure you click the bell.
I click the
but
bell and have all.
I
that's
don't
all
know
okay.
what's going on.
Yeah, I have a feeling that's why a lot of people aren't,
I don't
getting
know.
notified.
Amanda says, I always buy turkeys and or hams after Christmas for very cheap and put in the freezer throughout the year. That's exactly what I do. I'll buy like 5 or 6 turkeys, cook them all up, not at the same time, but over a couple of weeks, and then take the turkey meat off the bone. As a matter of fact, we still have some in there that we're still eating.
And know your holidays, like at Memorial Day, what you can get there for like pickled and mustard and ketchup and hot dog buns, hamburger buns, what the sales are going to be for each holiday.
So Jennifer's in Hygiene, Colorado. Did you know Mom used to live in Hygiene? That was her first
did.
apartment.
That was my first apartment. Was behind the post office in Hygiene. I lived there I loved it there. So
that's funny. Let's see. Kimberly says, I cut all my meat in my recipes in half, and my husband didn't even notice. Yep.
Yeah. You'd be surprised your family wouldn't.
Tracy loved my Thanksgiving on fire video. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. When are we doing a Bible show next? I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Next week maybe, or the week after, I guess we could do one. I'm having a hard time coming up with ideas to do for the live show because we can't cook. And I'm like, how many times can you talk about food prices and inflation? Well, let's see, 6 times in the last 2 months. But I don't know. I'm having a hard time coming up with ideas for the live show at the moment. So maybe we'll do that. I love your ideas. We always pick up something new, even though we have the cookbooks. Jolar says that.
Of course, if you have any questions, be sure to, email us or ask us, because we don't mind answering questions about the Bible anytime. So
I have no idea what this name is, but hey, they're pretty ladies. Thank you. Is there a rule of thumb for using bouillon cubes to make homemade soup? Yes, 1 cube per cup of water is what it is.
What?
Candace says you pickled yourself.
Pickled myself with apple cider vinegar. You find that so funny, don't you? You really are getting amused tonight.
Sandra, what's your favorite budget meal to cook? Well, all my meals are budget meals. So,
yeah,
I mean, like green chili, I cook that all the time. Stew, cheeseburger rolls.
So many of them don't. Even like when he was asking about the bouillon, I for a lot of times would take and boil the bouillon and whip up an egg and just drop the egg in as the bouillon was boiling, and it makes like egg flour soup type of thing. And that's really simple, but it's really yummy.
Julie, your son has a homemade gasoline recipe. Do share. I can't. It's illegal. I said nothing. And I didn't say which son. And I have 3. Let's see. Joanne says she's rewatching Penny Pinch Mama. Thanks for making them. The video on how to give when you needed food is such a good lesson. I repeat it often. Yay, that's great. You guys can find that playlist, Living on a Dime, on YouTube, and just click on playlists and go to Penny Pinch Mama. It tells how Mom raised 2 teenagers on $500 a month. Let's see. Pedro or Sam says, you guys are so right. The key is portion sizes. Small sizes make for a healthy lifestyle. Yes. That's the problem, is we just eat way too much food. And unfortunately, I mean, I'm overweight because I like sweets. I just like them. So yeah. what was it? People don't know how to control their tempers anymore. Barbara Jean says, yes.
It's like we've lost manners. You know, people are just plain rude anymore, and there's no manners in the world. You were expected to treat people a certain way.
Yeah. Susan, I wash my hair once a week, and shower once a week, and sponge bath in between. Yep. There's no problem with that. I mean, if you live in a hot and humid climate, then maybe I would take a shower maybe a little bit more often. We're actually doing a video, Bob doesn't know this yet, on the blackouts that they're anticipating happening, on how to keep yourself cool in the summer when that happens. So,
see, I don't shower, but just a couple times a week myself. But in the summer, I don't use my air conditioning. So sometimes I have to take a really quick shower just to cool down. So it's cheaper for me to take that cool shower than to run my air conditioning. So that's what she's talking about. Yeah.
I take a shower about once a year.
You take one once a year? Michael appreciates that, I bet you.
I do. I take a shower about once a year.
Because you take a bath every night.
So I take a bath every night because it helps my fibromyalgia.
She has to for fibromyalgia.
So when I'm up and moving a lot and I'm hurting really bad, it helps to take a really hot bath.
But doctors have said taking a shower every single day is hard on your skin. It really is. And any dermatologist will agree with that.
Yeah. Amazing Grace Ranch. Any tips or resources for starting out a YouTube channel? I have no idea what I'm doing, but I thought it would be fun. Don't do it.
We don't recommend having a YouTube channel or writing a book.
No, I mean, it depends on what you're doing.
It's not going to be easy. If you're thinking it's going to be easy and fun,
if you think it's quick, easy money, it's not.
It's lots of hard work.
There is a system to it, to having a successful channel. It's a lot of learning. Just watch videos on how to have a YouTube channel. Basically, we took a course that finally helped us to grow. And if you want to email me, I can send you the information on that. But it is expensive. It was $5,000. But you know, we made 10 times that amount of money in just the first couple of videos. So it really helped, but it is work. It's I'm not going to tell you it's not work.
We spend hours and hours behind the scene every day, researching things, studying things, practicing things, you know, like Tara doing the cooking.
Mike does a lot of the SEO and a lot of the research for which videos they're going to do and which aren't. And I do a lot of research on that.
Even before I did the show tonight, I researched a whole bunch of things to make sure we have our facts and information right. So there's a lot involved behind the scenes. Just setting up to do the live stream here takes us, you know.
Which is why we're getting the studio, so we don't have to keep setting up and tearing down and setting up and tearing down. So Carol Ann, I've ordered a dozen different items. Well, thank you. I didn't realize you ordered that much from your website, and I've always received the correct item in reasonable time. Yay. So when you place an order, Monday through Friday, we ship the next day usually. Now, if we're having a rainstorm or something, we don't ship that day because we set our books out for the mailman and we want your book to get there in one piece. So if it's like pouring down rain or something, we will wait and do it the next day. This is Wyoming. It doesn't pour rain that often, very rarely, but occasionally it will. So Monday through Friday, we ship every morning. Mike and I get up, I print the labels, he puts them on the books, or vice versa. So, let's see. Okay. Quit buying toilet paper, Pam says. Oh, dear. Get an adaptive bidet or a couple of water bottles. Yes, we have a bidet, but we still use toilet paper also. But yes, a bidet does help cut down.
They love their bidet. The boys love the bidet. They all love the bidet.
Every time we go to Colorado, they're like, oh, I can't wait to get home for the bidet. So yeah, but that's our birthday boy, guys.
Yes, birthday's tomorrow.
Boy tomorrow.
Going to be 13.
My baby. He's leaving
and
me.
Dave's birthday's on Saturday, so
my babies are leaving me. Actually,
he said he sent you something.
I really don't mind. Have you tried the bed sheets that are supposed to keep you cool? I have not.
No,
but I don't have a problem with being hot sleeping. So, Michelle says, I use your pantry list from your cookbook. So in dining, we do have a pantry list in here.
We have
What to keep in your
freezer,
pantry. Yeah.
what to keep in your freezer. We have a lot of lists and extra information besides recipes in there. We have meal plans too. I noticed that today. I forgot about that.
Yeah, we have meal plans in there too. Jack, everybody's telling you happy birthday.
Thank you.
He said thank you. Marguerite says she uses the coconut oil from Dollar Tree. And it's a great skin moisturizer. Oh, well, that's good. And a makeup remover. Yeah. Pamela says, are your books shipping any better since moving? Yes. Oh, yes. So much better. We have the best mail lady on the planet.
She's unbelievable.
Oh, my word.
Oh,
it's like unbelievable.
She's something.
Thank you, Brandy. We love you. If you leave, we're toast.
She is.
She's even trained all her substitutes. It's been glorious.
It's like from day one.
She comes and picks them all up, and
She also gave us her text number so we can tell her how many we have. And
yeah,
she
gave us her cell phone number, and so every day I text her how much I have so she can know if she needs to come before or after.
I mean, she's just worked with us like nothing we've ever had before.
And somebody says, are the cookbooks selling? Yes. Now, it's summer, so they sell slower in summer every year. It's just the way it is. But yes, we do sell quite a few. I mean, we're still selling way more than we ever have. And I think because people are just panicking about not being able to afford groceries, and so they're getting the cookbook now.
And they do help save money and everything.
Nicole says, is it expensive to ship to Canada? Would love to get a cookbook. Yes, it costs about $50 just to ship one cookbook, unfortunately. And so because of custom issues and that kind of thing, we have had to stop all international sales. I am super sorry, guys. It has nothing to do with, well, it has everything to do with you. It's your country's laws that we are having issues with. The EU and VAT taxes, and then Canada, we're having issues with customs, and we were just losing literally hundreds and hundreds of dollars on books. We weren't even breaking even. So we finally just had to stop shipping, and I'm really sorry. We do have all the ebooks though. You can get the ebook, and you're welcome to print it out if you want and put it in a, like a 3-ring binder or something if you want. So let's see, Pamela, are fewer complaints coming in about the books being lost or torn up? Yeah. So, I mean, I would say it's about the same amount of complaints, but we're selling 2 to 3 times the amount of books. So it's actually less complaints for the amount of sales. So yes, I don't know what it is with the Cheyenne Distribution Center, but they're so much better than Denver that it's great. So yes, Iris, I liked the Bible show y'all did. Thank you.
Thank you.
We will probably do another one. By the way, if you guys can't afford a Bible, right here, we will give them to you for free, and we don't contact you. We are not Jehovah's Witnesses or Latter-day Saints or anything like that. We're not going to come to your door or anything. We just send you a large print, easy to read Bible in a newer translation. And so we just do that as a gift to our viewers if you would like a Bible. And thank you, by the way, for all the Bible donations that we've gotten. We just, every day we get Bible donations and they're going straight back out the door. So thank you so much. We had to order a pallet of Bibles.
I know you, I've said this a million times before, but you guys, it's going to be so exciting when we get to heaven and somebody's going to walk up to you and said, because you gave us this, I got a Bible and I got saved and came to heaven, got to go to heaven. I think that'll be so exciting to know that your money that you sent for these Bibles, what it did, and you won't know it until you get to heaven, all these different things.
So thank you everyone for helping us with that. 100% goes straight to Bibles. We don't take any administrative costs or anything. It just 100% goes to Bibles and the shipping costs. And we just do that because people started asking us and said that they couldn't afford. Oh, look at, sorry, my hands are
paint. From painting and gardening, and
I can't do cooking videos with this. I'll be bad.
That's pretty rough. Oh my goodness.
And yeah. So anyway, little Kimmy says, I just ordered the gluten-free cookbook. Thank you. Thanks. And Jules says our cookbooks are like gold. Thank you. And
I think a lot of people, once they get our cookbook, they actually save the money that they paid for the book in
Yeah.
the tips and ideas that we give you guys for saving money.
Yep. Let's see. Sarah loves her Bible, and so does somebody else. Who was it? Oh, Phyllis. You're welcome, guys. I'm glad you liked it. Let's see. Somebody said, when is our Bible shows? We just randomly do Bible shows. So I guess if you have, put in the comments after we get off what questions you have, and we'll try to answer them. I don't know if it'll be next week or the week after. Let's see. All right, Pamela says, I left a comment on your grocery haul the other day. You'll have to go back and read that, but I definitely want you to know that it was one of your best idea videos, and prices were comparable to here in North Carolina. Oh, that's great to know. Oh, thanks,
Thank you,
Diane, for the
Diane.
Bible money. Thank you. Jamel says, I've been meaning to buy a Bible from you. I'll go to the website now. Yay, good. We don't charge extra for the Bibles when you buy them. It's for people who can afford them, but we only charge the cost that it costs us to ship a Bible. So the $9.50 is the Bible and the shipping that it costs us. So yes. So how's the church in the Philippines doing, Marlene? They are doing really well. They really have appreciated everything that us and the viewers have done for them. They just reached their 1-year anniversary last week. And so they were super excited about that. For those of you who don't know, we help support a church in the Philippines so that they could get a church building and give out Bibles and all of that stuff that they can't, they're very poor. And so they really appreciated, like they said, the elders of their church didn't even have a Bible. So they were very appreciative of getting the Bibles and having the church building and all of those extra things that we've been sending them. So our mailing address is Living on a Dime, P.O. Box 6837, Sheridan, Wyoming, 82801. So thank you. Yes, it is Jack and Dave's birthday this week. My 2 babies were born 2 days apart with their great grandpa in the middle. I tried twice, I failed. And let's see. Okay, going through here. Hello, Michelle. Good to see you. Okay, let's see. Okay, I'm going to read this next week, but we got another letter from Carrie. Thank you, Carrie, in Ireland. And I was going to read it tonight, but I'm going to save it. I might save this actually for an individual video because it is very inspirational. And
Carrie is unbelievable. Her last letter was just,
the things she has done is just,
you can't even imagine.
Amazing.
It deserves a whole
show by itself.
It's by itself.
I was just wondering about you, Carrie.
And yeah, Mike said he was just wondering about you. So Carrie, we got your letter. Thank you very much. And
I still think of you every day. I have your candle in my windowsill.
Me too. Michelle, we got your Bible donation. Thank you in the mail. Let's see. Okay. I have no idea what that means. Any stock list in Australia? I have looked. I prefer a book in hand to an ebook. You mean do our books sell in Australia? We don't have them. We don't have a distributor in Australia. We're self-published, and so we are our own distribution. So we don't have a distribution in Australia. But I'm very sorry, but we do have the ebooks. But you can print them out. You're welcome to print out the ebooks when you want. I will warn you, though, dining is 580 pages.
We've got a lot of recipes in there, a lot of information.
Gluten-free is 380 pages. And this one is 400 and some odd pages. So they are extremely large. So you'll probably have to go to I assume Australia has like office supply places that they print something like that. I mean, here we have places where you can go print things. So I would assume you could do that, maybe cheaper, but I would definitely make sure that that's the truth, that it is cheaper. Sometimes you can just print it at home cheaper too. So All right. So Amy says most farmer markets are sellers who buy seconds wholesale and pass it on as their own. Real growers have to charge more. Cheap farmers market produce is commercial junk. Yeah, a lot of times they do just go buy it and resell it. So yeah. How long could y'all go without going to the grocery store? Well, if the fecal matter hit the oscillation unit today, I could probably go at least. I know I could go a minimum of 6 months, but it could be 9.
I could do
Probably,
at least a year to year and a half.
Yeah, 6 to 5 months for me. Well, it just depends on how many people are here. So like if it's just Mike and the kids and I, we could probably get 9 months. If our other 2 kids had to come up here and live with us, or their friends, or who knows, what else, then it wouldn't go as far. But it just kind of depends. So Diane says, birthday money for Jack and Dave. I know they help out with the channel a lot, so this is a thank you. I will give it to them.
They'll love that. They'll get so tickled over that.
Dave is saving up for a paragliding thing he wants to do. Ellie's already doing it, so I'm okay. I can handle this. So, yeah. So, Mrs. T, will you be doing any more furniture makeovers? No, I'm sorry. I won't. I'm not going to be doing any more gardening videos. No more hauls. No more furniture. Nobody wants to watch those things.
On YouTube, they're just not. Our viewers are watching them, but not other people.
They take a really long time for me to do, work. And I get nothing from them. It's just not worth my time or my energy. It's really just not worth my energy is what it amounts to. And we want to see Jill's stockpile. So I don't know if we'll do that. It's not too exciting, but yeah. How's Ellie doing? She's doing good. So, all right, guys, visit livingonadime.com. Thank you for watching. We will see you next time. Have a good night.
Bye-bye, guys.